What's up? This is Anthony God, I butchered my own name. All right. What's up? This is Anthony Shetler, and you're watching Talkin Schmit.
It's cool, like tonight is the night.
Here we go again.
Just give it the old college try, right?
Big Dog's in.
Smitty!
96 times, Schmitty.
Thanks, Schmitty.
We on? Schmitty?
Talkin Schmit.
That's called going to the hospital, bitch.
I'd be shitting my pants.
Your Rolodex is fucking deep.
It's about the one.
Who is this guy thinks he's tough shit?
What's up?
We're tastemakers.
Come on, Schmitty, what the fuck?
Let's hear it for Drake Smith. Yeah!
Okay, kids, we're doing something unusual for us and maybe even for podcasters in general. If you haven't listened to today's All I Need Skate episode, please go over there right now, subscribe, click on the listen button, and you're going to hear my next guest interviewing me. Pro skateboarder, host of the show All I Need Is Skate, please welcome Anthony Shetler.
The stadium roar.
Dude, I haven't talked to you in a minute, literally.
Literally about a minute. I went pee and I'm right back, dude.
That pee break, dude. I was
I
thinking
needed
about
that.
some shit and I just ended up peeing. But before we start, I just want to talk about how good was I on your program. Was it like a 6.5 or a 7 out of a 10 on the IMDb?
Think about like the best Scorsese film you could think of. It's like that, but times 10. easily.
Raging Bull?
Yeah, times 10.
What the fuck?
It's gonna break the internet. Yeah,
It's gonna break McKenney's brain. He's gonna listen to it within 30 seconds of your post, and he'll be the first one to tell us exactly what he loved.
Fuck are they, dude? I need my Talkin Schmit, man.
I was just talking to him through YouTube comments right now.
Yes.
Hashtag, are you okay?
Sick.
Oh my God. Would you consider yourself a townie?
A townie? No, I wouldn't.
What is a townie exactly?
I would say like someone from a small town that knows everybody and probably hangs out all the time, and you guys just never leave that town, so you're just like a townie. Maybe you go to the local bar.
Oh, my friend!
That's what I'd consider. What do you consider it?
I don't even know because I just only know about it from like Matt Damon movies.
Oh shit. Yeah, no, I'm actually not a townie because I moved a shit ton as a little kid. I moved all over the place, so I kicked it wherever I went, but I just always moved, so I never really settled into like a townie, you know?
Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Where were you born and raised? Like, what was your initial?
Okay. So I was born in Brockton, Massachusetts, which is home of the champions, clearly, obviously, the stadium roars. And then from there, I just fucking moved all over the place, man. My family life was a fucking chaos tornado, hurricane, if you will. And I've lived all over New England, New Hampshire, New York, Massachusetts, Florida, Arizona, California. I'm going to miss Maine. I've just moved everywhere growing up. Like, I didn't have a stable house, so I just bounced around a lot. It was pretty intense, to be honest.
Your folks divorced?
They were never married, and pretty much my whole life they were never really together. And the times they were together was violent and not a good thing. So I honestly don't even have any memories of my parents being together without there being cops or something fucked up happening.
Oh, damn. So
Yeah.
Did that affect you, like your schooling and stuff?
Oh yeah, man. I went to so many different schools, so I met tons of kids, and everyone kind of knew my situation wherever I'd go, because I'd come in like the middle of the year, or it would just be obvious when I was in class because I'd just like sleep or keep to myself, and I was like the kid that everyone's like, there's something going on with, even the teachers. So I got a lot of actual empathy from teachers because they were like, he clearly has house shit, family shit going on, and like they would fill the teachers in and stuff like, hey, you know, his family life is broken, and this is, so like I got a lot of empathy, and they were cool to me. Teachers were really cool to me, but like, yeah, I don't know. It was a crazy time, man. Just growing up, I didn't know I had to learn real quick how to like blend in with a lot of new people, you know?
It's not easy transferring schools when you're trying to like get stable.
Yeah, man. My father was in a motorcycle gang.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he was in it pretty thick as when I was growing up, and my mom had a substance abuse problem pretty much since I was born, and pretty much until she passed. And then they just did not get along. So there was just the state would get involved. We'd get taken from my mom, or from my dad because he was in a motorcycle gang. Then they'd give us back to my mom, and we'd go live in the projects because she's having drug problems, and they're giving us government housing and stuff. So like, and then I would be going to school on the edge of tears and like just trying to get through the fucking day and
damn, dude,
make the best of it. Yeah, that was pretty much my life from birth to like I found skateboarding at 12, 13 was just like a lot of chaos, a lot of adult shit that I didn't know how to handle, and me just wanting to sleep and avoid reality until I found skateboarding.
Huh.
Yeah.
What would you say looking back on all that was like was it you just went to sleep? Like what would you say got you through all that shit? Like how did you how you came out solid?
It's crazy because like I think about that a lot, to be honest, and thank you for saying that. I'm trying to hang on to reality sometimes, but I'm doing pretty good. But it was it's so weird to say this, but I think it was my father, because my father was in a motorcycle gang, and he had his evils and his demons and things, and him and my mom, and he'd do fucked up things to my mom and stuff. But as a father, he would always, like, he was trying to avoid all the drama. He would take care of us. Like when I lived with my father, it was pretty calm times, you know, like he would do his best to like play with us, keep us fed, keep a steady house, even though that didn't always work. Sometimes we'd have to move and stuff. But he'd also tried really hard to instill like good values in us. He would take us to church and like talk about the importance of being a good person and like understanding that people are going through hell and that, you know, you got to be understanding of that. And so I just like, he instilled that in me as a little kid, and it's just like that I never forgot that my whole life. He was just like trying to make us be a good person, and the fact that he was doing that made me be like, yeah, that's like some good in the world. Like, don't let go of that. Like, I was very proud of my dad. I only had him for 12, 13 years. He passed when I was like 12 turning 13, but like it was good memories I had of just us, me and him, you know. When he was with my mom, it was a whole nother story, you know. But that really helped me carry it through, because I had that male figure that was like had some morality and like positivity, and it really instilled in me. So that helped me carry through. And then just all the cool people that helped me out. Like I stayed with family, friends, and I stayed with like my friend's family, and they would take me in. Like I graduated high school because I stayed with my friend Ryan Toole's family. They knew my whole thing, and they took me in and fed me. His mom would clean my clothes, and like, it just like that type of shit is like, I have to try really hard because these people are going out of their way to like help me as a kid, and that just kept me going, kept me inspired, you know.
How old were you when your mom passed?
She passed, man, I'm so bad at times, but it's been like at least 6 years now.
Oh, so more in your older. Okay.
Yeah, wow. My mom, like, she had a rough ride, man, and some of it was self-inflicted, and some of it was just the way things that happened to her that was out of her control as a child. She was like molested and had things that happened to her. She went on to have 5 kids with 3 different men. My dad had 5 kids with 2 different ladies. But my mom she had that fall apart gene. Like when things would get bad and you need to keep it together, she would go the other way and just fall apart and dig a deeper hole. There wasn't no low she couldn't find, you know? And my mom was a great person. Like I loved her, huge heart, like at her best, the most powerful, but it was manic, you know, it was ups and downs, and it was like Hurricane Lisa, you know, and she would just like wreck everything. And so growing up, I just like got used to that. Like my mom would disappear, and like I wouldn't find her for days, and she'd come back glassy eyed, like smoke some fucking shit and tell me about how she got shot at, and like things like that, where I was just like, I can't do this. I love this lady, but I can't fucking do that. And her craziness led me to go the complete fucking opposite way. I wanted stability. I wanted peace, calm. Like I was like an adult as a fucking 12-year-old, for real. Like,
have you ever dabbled with drugs, or did it turn you off to the point where you didn't even want to go there?
that's a good question. I was so afraid of drugs growing up. So afraid. Everything, coffee, everything. I was like, I don't want to do this, I can't. And then as I got older, I got into drugs, like nothing crazy, but I'm still nervous of drugs. Like I'm very cautious of what I intake in my body, because I'm like, this can go off the rails, because I've seen nightmares growing up. My mom played out every nightmare. So like I've seen endless nightmares through that, So I don't want that to happen again,
Yeah, addiction is, people don't understand it at all. And especially if you've never encountered it in your own life, like watching it on the movies and stuff is like, it's fucking gnarly. And like you said, the greatest people ever could have these addiction problems. And just, I've definitely had people in my life with addiction issues, and you kind of struggle, or at least I have struggled with trying to figure out when is okay to cut the rope. Like, I can't do everything for this person, right? I love this person, but I can't drown with this person. And like that gray area where you're like just kind of throwing in the towel and saying, I got to fucking swim because you're sinking. It's hard when you love people, especially like a family member, like your mother, your brother or something. Like, yeah, it's just tough, man.
That describes my relationship with my mother to a T. Is like, I love you. I have my life more together than you, and I'm way younger. And like, I would just like call her, and she would just tell me all the drama and hell, and like it was always raining and always horrible. And I would just be trying to tell her, like, look, you got to change your perspective on things. And like, I just couldn't like do it. I like wanted to cut her off, but then I couldn't. So it was like my whole life it was like torture. I wanted to be around my family and I wanted to hang out with them and stuff, but then it was just all falling apart constantly. So I was like, at some point I was like, I got to get away from all this so I don't drown, like you said, but also so I can figure out what I believe and develop, because like the way it was going was like, I had no room to think or breathe. It was always chaos and falling apart. It was always something. So I got away from my mom, and I would check in with her and stuff, but it was hard to have conversations with her and stuff because she would be in hell, literal hell, and you could hear it in her voice, and she'd be talking about it. Just, people get ugly when they're in hell, and it sucks because it's not even all her fault. It was like things happened to her, and then society kind of trapped her in these weird games, and like the healthcare system, like because she was a mother and she had 5 kids, and then they gave her drugs because they were making money off of it and stuff like that. And then like jail, she went to jail multiple times, and it was like she really just needed fucking help and counseling and therapy, and like it's like she couldn't get that, so and even when she got that, she would fight it too. So it's like partly her fault and partly like people taking advantage of her. But pretty much my upbringing was that, man, until about 12 and 13 when I found skating. And then I latched on to skateboarding so fucking hard because it was just like that fresh start. And
how did it come onto your radar? Do you remember like how you actually were drawn to it in the first place?
Yeah, I was living in New Hampshire in this trailer park. I want to say Garden Homes North. I might be wrong on the name, but I was living in Raymond, New Hampshire, and this girl like from school, I just moved there, and she was like cute, and she was like talking to me, and she's like, you should come hang out and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go fucking. I was grimy little trailer park kid at that time, hooking up with chicks, and I was 12 trying to hook up with chicks. So just imagine that. See where I can get my fingers into. And 12's not a good age for that, but I made it happen, bro. But yeah, I met this girl, and I went over her house and her trailer or whatever, and her boyfriend, she had a boyfriend, so that sucked. And he was cool. He had a skateboard, and he was doing kickflips. His name was Dale Raymond. He lived in Raymond, New Hampshire, and he was so cool to me. And he literally was like, there was nobody skating in New Hampshire. So he was like, you know what? You look like you need this and you love this. I'm gonna get you a board. And he got me a board from one of his friends. He like made his friend, he like strong-armed his friend into giving me a board basically. And then from there he asked me to sleep over the day I met him. He was like, yeah, you can sleep over, my mom won't care, like fucking come on over, sleep over, get you a board, and we're skating. And literally that's what we did from there on out basically. Every day I was like, I'm just gonna be with this kid. And he pushed Mongo, and I tried to push Mongo because he was better than me, and I thought that's why. Didn't work out.
What were some of the early things that you were taking your skateboard to? Like, were you just like bombing through streets, or were there any ditches or ramps or like skate parks or anything of that nature?
So there was nothing in this town, and literally Dale was probably there was like 3 skateboarders, Dale and like 2 of his friends, and they didn't like skating as much as Dale, you know? So we would just skate fucking a mile or 2 to like an abandoned gas station, the Getty station, that's what it was. And we would just set up wood and fucking destroy the shit there and just make stuff. And eventually more kids would get into it because we were like fun. Like people walk by and like, what the fuck is this, you know? And we were just like playing music and shredding. And then more kids got into it. We went to Ben Franklin's, which is like a hardware store out there when we were younger, and we skated under their roofing. They had lights and stuff. We got a little fucking like element rail and skated that thing. Dale's mom let us build a fucking 3-foot quarter pipe with PVC coping in the basement next to the washer drying machine. So in winters we'd fuck that thing up. We pretty much destroyed her washing machine, and I think she was really pissed about it. Just like boards shooting out and stuff.
Yeah, because you got snow and shit to deal with in the winter. I don't know anything about that, but like half of this season, you're just trying to fucking find an indoor place that you can roll. Exactly,
man. We would go to Ben Franklin's under the roof. It'd be snow on the ground. We'd fucking wait till after hours, lights on, fucking so cold, and we'd just skate there, or we'd be in a basement just trying to learn kick flips and tray flips and not break shit.
Damn.
But, yeah.
Dude, what are is there any tips? Like, because I've skated in the cold before and my feet just feel like you can't even feel the board. So, like, do you wear like extra socks, no socks? Is there things that you do to like keep your feet like the blood circulating or anything, or you just go for it or what?
You know, at that time, I just went for it because I didn't have shit, you know? Like, I fucking wore the same pants, the same shit. It was all hand-me-down shit. And, like, but, yeah, you just bundle up. You run around the block to get the blood going. You got to, like, do fucking calisthenics and push-ups and jumping jacks. And wear definitely a good hoodie, maybe 2 or 3 hoodies. Just layer yourself and charge it, man. There's not really much you can do. You just got to be fortunate to find an indoor park, which there's not that many. So it's kind of tough, you know?
Right.
You got to really want a skateboard, though. Like, especially here on the East Coast, like, you got to really figure it out. Like, we literally fucked up my friend's mom's washer machine because we were just like, I don't care. And she was pissed, you know?
Oh, man. Who are some of, like, your early memories as far as, like, dudes? Like, seen them in a mag, seen them in a video, or just, like, inspiration, like as far as like, you know, legends that you kind of like discovered at an early age?
Yeah, Toby Parkhurst was like a big one because he was like doing stuff out here on the East Coast and from here. And Charlie Wilkins was another one because he's local and just killing it, and you're like, hear about this. We also 411 magazine because Dale had a subscription to 411, and then Thrasher and Transworld, obviously he had all the subscriptions coming in, so we just like scour all the videos, all the magazines, and that's where, like, I was on the last podcast, I was telling you, like, Think was huge, and like we were like all about Think and Jerhobel and the whole team and Phil Shao, and like watching all these dudes in videos, and like on the East Coast just like trying to learn all the tricks and figure it out and know what they're called, and we were just consuming it like crazy, man. So a lot of it was like a couple local guys around that were keeping the spark going, and then a lot of content, whatever you guys were putting out on the West Coast and we could get our hands on, we would just devour that.
Was it hard to get Thrasher out there, or like a mag? Was there a skate shop like a city away, or?
In New Hampshire, there was Eastern Border, I think, after a while, and they had some stuff, but we'd have to get a ride there. It was kind of like 45 minutes away or whatever.
Yeah.
So we'd go there and trip out on everything too. Snowboard Jones was another skateboard shop or like snowboard shop that we'd go to, and they would have it. But mostly Dale's subscription. His mom would like let him fucking. She like married a guy and he had money, so like Dale would take advantage of it and like get all the subscriptions and stuff. So it would come in and we'd just be in heaven, dude.
What was like one of the first things you remember getting for free?
Oh, like skate wise?
Yeah.
It was well, besides my initial first board, like he made his friend
right.
that one. But like as far as like on my own merit,
yeah,
because that was like a cool thing, man. Like I only wanted to get sponsored really because I wanted like the recognition that I was skating hard and people were like, yeah, you're progressing. Like this is cool. We want to like support you in that.
Sure.
And Eastern Border was the shop. It was like they gave me a discount, you know, like the shop discount, and I was like, sick, man. I saved like $10 or something, but it meant the fucking world to me because I was like, man, they acknowledged me. They're like down for this, and like I want to keep going with this. So it meant a lot, man. Really.
Yeah, I was wondering if like, how did they know about you? Did they see you at a local contest or like just at the skate park or something, or like you had footy or?
Yeah, like at this time it was probably just they threw a skate jam at a skate park and we went, and then like I think Dale got the discount, the hookup, and then he was telling them about me, and there was Chris Tremblay, Ralph Murphy. Those guys were all part of Eastern Border crew, and then they would just like kind of talk me up and try to help me out. And then we weren't really making sponsor me tapes at that time. That came a little bit later when I was living with my friend Bob. Bob filmed, and this is New Bedford, Mass. I ended up moving from New Hampshire to New Bedford, and they had a skate shop there called Solstice Skate Shop, which, yeah, you got the hoodie, exactly. JV. Yeah, Jay's the man. And when I moved there, it was like so conflicting. It was some of the worst, best times of my life because I moved to New Bedford, and we lived in like literally right across the streets from the projects with my mom. So my mom was like that or worse at that time because she would just go over to the projects, disappear for days. And then, but I found Solstice. So I was like, fuck, all I got to do is skate a couple miles to downtown and go hang out with these dudes at the shop and get away from my house. You know, like I never really wanted to go home. I was just like out. So as soon as I found out about Solstice Skate Shop, I was there hounding these dudes, like just hanging out all day long, talking to them. Like they knew my whole story. They knew how much I would go outside and skate and do all the tricks, come back in, tell them all about it. Like I annoyed the shit out of them, but they were so cool. And then I started with like going through their trash to keep going, like because I didn't have much money. So I was like going through their trash because they'd leave like old shoes and boards and stuff out in the trash, like chip shit. And I was like, get that. And then they realized that I was doing that. And then they're like, dude, just ask us. Like we got extra stuff. And then they would start giving me some extra boards and really like helping me out on that sense instead of me just going through their trash, you know?
Yeah. Holy shit.
But that like Solstice was a game changer to me because I went from a small town in New Hampshire, not knowing shit, just looking at the magazines, then going to a city in New Bedford, Mass, and they had a whole crew at this skate shop, and they already put out full-length videos together, and they just like had a shop downtown. They like were part of the community. Like I didn't know skateboarding could be like that. I didn't realize that like there was happy, healthy adults that love skating that also were paying rent and like part of the community and like talking with the cops and doing events and blocking off the streets. Like they would block off the streets with the city, and they'd have Supernaut, they'd have Element come and all those pros and stuff. And I was like, wow, this is fucking insane that this is like, you know, they're so cool, but they also have their shit together and they can do cool shit. And like that blew my mind, man. I love that about it.
Wow. Jay's been great with me. He carried some of our merch too out there, and some dude bought like something in the shop, and then like he didn't even know about the podcast, but for some reason he bought like a shirt, and then he emailed me this like sick email about how dude, if you're in with Jay and you're in with that shop, you're down with me. These guys are true. Like this whole thing, I was sick. I was like, damn, I said it to Jay. I was like, dude, thank you. Like always fucking stoked on that.
Jay's someone that I really admire because Jay just gives everything back to skateboarding. Like he really does it as a labor of love, and he never really tried to, like, you know how people try to turn it into something more than what it is. He's always just like paid his bills, worked when he had to, kept the shop going. He's constantly give back to people that come and support him, and like he's just a really humble, like solid human in general. And he's been huge for me personally, but also just New Bedford and East Coast skateboarding, just having Solstice there for, which it must be like 20 years now, you know, and like it's unbelievable, man. Like
That's rad.
yeah, their whole crew, man. Solstice put out videos and inspired a whole generation of kids, man. So
Sick.
so awesome.
Well, props to them. Sponsor wise, what did you get? Wheels, or who sponsored you, like as a company first?
So that's when the Sponsor Me tapes came. We started filming all the time, and my friend Bob, who was part of the Solstice crew, Bob was the filmer. Old man Bob was the filmer, and he would just fucking film
Old man
everybody.
Bob.
Yeah, he was Old man Bob, and he was working at, I want to say, Stop and Shop, and he still works there. I think he's been working there for 40 years. So Bob would work overnights at Stop and Shop, and then he would go out the rest of his time, grumpy as fuck because he didn't sleep, and be filming us. Old man Bob. And he just filmed me. It was like, this kid wants to jump down everything, learn all the tricks. I would come up to him with like 10 new tricks, and I'm like, let's go find the spot. So we just filmed endless Sponsor Me tapes. We just kept filming them, 3-minute tapes, with probably horrible music selection. And we just started showing them to Jay at Solstice, and Jay showed it to Deluxe, and ended up getting some flow from Spitfire and Thunder, which was like the ideal. Like, to me, that was the top of the mountain. I was like, what? This is fucking insane, you know?
Yeah.
And that kind of bridged that. I would get boxes through Solstice. They would send extra for me, and I would do my best to tell everybody. I was a mouthpiece for Solstice and then for Spitfire and Thunder, and just like so excited, man.
Did you know Dan Vellucci?
Oh, fuck yeah. Blue cheese? Razor nose? Yeah, dude.
You mentioned Trembling, and I was like, oh yeah, what's the other guy's name out there? The big dude now, fucking bodybuilder.
Nick
Dompier, yeah.
Yeah, Dompier.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan Vellucci is the man, dude.
Yeah, Vellucci is sick, dude. He did the Crooked video, like I helped do one, and then Vellucci did the one after, I believe. And that was the one with Jehovah's fucking Forever in Blue Jeans part.
Yeah, dude.
And that's that was a really good part.
Yeah, Trembling. So that was Trembling's Bob, basically, was Dan.
Was Vellucci?
Yeah, Trembling was like ahead of his time. He was just doing these nose blunts on everything, and
big
just
rails.
Like, yeah, he was a rail destroyer, and he could do a lot of stuff. But he had the fire. Like, he just started filming skateboarding for the sake of it. I don't even think he was trying to get sponsored. But he linked up with Dan, and Dan was filming everything. And then me, Dan, and Trembling drove across the country and went out to Deluxe, and like met up with Mickey and Fibro and all those dudes, and just got boxes. They took us through the warehouse, walked us through. It was fucking mind blowing to me. I was like, these are skateboarders working on skateboarding shit and keeping it together somehow. Like, this is unbelievable. And they would give us tons of product, and then they'd take us around filming and taking us to all the spots. And we filmed a bunch with Dan. And Dan like helped Trembling out a lot just with the filming and being down all the time, you know? So
yeah.
I haven't heard from Dan in a long fucking time, though. I hope he's good out there.
Yeah, he's in New Hampshire, I think, though, right?
I don't know. Like, literally,
Or
there
Vermont.
was a point where he just like disappeared. Like, I don't even know what happened. Like, I'd have to check with Trembling. I think last time I checked in with Trembling, he was like, yeah, Dan just like recluse, like completely disappeared.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
I talked to him probably. I'm so bad with time, but I needed to find some Darrell Stanton footage at Clipper, and I was like, Vellucci, I know you got the tapes, and he had them, and he fucking sent me a couple of clips, so it was sick. But I haven't talked to him much. I think he's kind of into outdoors, like lizard hunting and different shit, but I can't really remember.
Dude, well, Trembling goes on these crazy missions into the woods, and he's shooting like these incredible photos and time lapses on his Instagram. It's like
rad.
He goes out there for days on end and just gets the perfect photo of like an owl somewhere in the middle. It's like it's unbelievable, like the photos and the stuff. I always want to go out with him, but then I know it's just gonna be rough. Probably,
yeah,
it's not easy to do that shit.
We talked a little bit about it on the earlier interview on your podcast, but what was PJ Ladd's video for that area? What was it like? Like when they launched it, like were you around? Did you see how it affected the shop and how it affected that crew and everything?
Yeah, I was around in the sense that I wasn't close enough to Coliseum in the shop because I was outside it like an hour or so, and I only knew those guys from going to like Skaters Island, so I would see PJ and Jeremy and Ryan Gallant, and they would come through. But when that video dropped, it was just like you could tell. You're like, whoa, this is something special. Like all these dudes ripped. They all got hooked up with like all these brands. PJ was like a unicorn. Like people started acting weird when he was around at Skaters Island and stuff. And like it was just kind of like, wow. And that video definitely like it was a big one for the East Coast, you know, like people started skating like those guys basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it was big at that time. It was awesome, man. I was stoked for those guys. It's always cool when that stuff happens. And I didn't even really know what was going on at that time. I was so trying to learn kickflip front boards and wasn't really sure like how it all worked completely yet. So, but it was insane, man.
Yeah, I remember, like I said, it hit us like a ton of bricks. Like, whoa,
yeah.
I never heard of Coliseum before, and I definitely heard about them. You know, like it was like. I
feel like those guys were kind of like, it was like they were groomed to be like the next generation of Boston skateboarding in that sense. Like that video kind of like cemented them in that position, you know? So like everybody knew it. They're like, these are the dudes that are doing it, and there's the proof right there. And then PJ obviously, you know, took it to another level too.
And who were the legends? Like, who were the guys that they would have looked up to, or like that were already like older and skated, like Panama Dan, maybe?
Oh yeah, dude, Panama Dan was ripping, dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever met Dan, but like I've heard a lot through other pros and people that I respect talking about Dan and seeing his footage and stuff.
He was
always on
in
fire.
Like the early Thrasher videos. That's how I know of him. Like,
yeah, dude, killing it again. Like,
Vanique Jacobian.
Vanique was huge. Barley, obviously. Barley.
Yeah. Okay.
A lot. It's weird because everyone's from different states and things, and they all come together. Toby Parkhurst, Donnie Barley, Charlie Wilkins. God, there's so many.
Right.
I'm trying to think of off the top of my head, but they were just dudes that would like pursue skateboarding and somehow make it happen. So you're like, whoa, these dudes are making it happen. Like they're the shit right now. And yeah, for me, it was like Charlie Wilkins for sure because he was like close to me, and Toby Parkhurst too because he was kind of close. I would see him and stuff.
Charlie's out here, right? I think he lives in Sacramento, maybe.
He was, but I think he's in Providence, Rhode Island right now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
okay.
I hit him up the other day, and I think he said he was in Providence now.
Okay.
So for me, it was weird because like I was a little older than like the peers that I had in skateboarding for whatever reason. I was like a year or two older than the people I was skating with. So I kind of got into like, there's dudes that I looked up to in skateboarding and that were like my age, and I didn't realize it. I thought they were like older, and I was like, oh, you're like my age, you know? Like I was a fanboy of like dudes that were doing it at the same time as me.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is weird.
Well,
I don't know how that happened.
When you get older, like 2 years doesn't seem that much, but back then 2 years seemed like a distant, like that's way older.
Yeah, like dudes that really inspired me like were Zared, and he was like so close to me. Zared, Westgate, like those dudes were like, I don't know, like we were so close and skating all the time we were focused on what we were doing, you know. And Trembling, obviously Chris Trembling was like next level and super inspired me so much to learn and grow. He's such an awesome dude.
Was Eastern exposure big for you guys?
Yeah, definitely. Donnie, you know, just having Donnie around has been so important for East Coast skateboarding. Like, he's just like crazy. But yeah, that video dropped, and it was like I had to go back and watch it because I caught up on stuff. I was
It was like
watching
Tim
Forum
O'Connor,
Wars.
Reese Forbes.
Yep, Reese. All the Element guys came through too, like Jake Rupp, Reese Forbes. Who else was Billy Pepper? Like all those dudes came by. Supernaut came through, like Matt Field. Who else was Matt Pales? Supernaut had a sick team at that time. Those were dudes that came through the East Coast that was like super, super clutch for us, like
Rad.
That was so cool. But yeah, Eastern Exposure was sick. Just watching it growing up, going back and watching it and being like, this is what dudes were talking about,
Yeah, and Dan Wolf filmed and edited it so cool with a great soundtrack. It was on our radar for sure. Like, we're out here and we're like, whew.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason,
Totally.
Yeah.
So what was your first board sponsor?
Fibro was the first one, and that was through Solstice too. And then those were dudes I looked up to too. Like as soon as I met someone and was close to him, they were like gods to me. So skating with Steve R in New York City, and then Pat Gadotti, Tato Feliciano, Dan Pencil, Perry Morgan, Aaron Susky, Danny Fala, like the whole team, John Hoisington. He always had a huge crew, and they would come through, do demos as well. Basically because of Solstice, we'd have demos, and it would like expose us to pros and people that love skateboarding and were doing it. So I had a million sponsor me tapes at that time. So we just kept sending them to Steve R, being like, yo, check this out. And Steve R is awesome because if he finds someone with the fire, that's what he called it, the fire, he would support that person, So he would instantly was like, yo, this kid is like got the fire. Like he has a work ethic. He's nonstop and like he's rough around the edges, but then they would show up. They'd invite me to the city. They would take me around. They would call me a dipshit when it needed to be said. You know what I mean? Like he was just like a mentor, a father figure kind of. That I just started going to New York a whole bunch, man, just because of Fibro.
I was always curious about Zoo York and Fibro's relation. Was there animosity, like tension, rivalry, or was it cool? Or
no, it was super cool. And that, to be honest, like outside the Boston scene, like New York mixtape was huge. When mixtape, that video had a huge impact on me and all my friends, like Harold and Peter BC and Danny Supa and Todd Jordan. Like all those dudes were insane. And that video just like brought a lot of energy, and like it's a classic as well, So
yeah, that
was like another influence I really looked up to. I was like, dude, Zoo York is the shit. And then I later went on to ride for them, which was pretty cool. But then between Fibro and Zoo York, there was never any tension. Not that I noticed,
Yeah.
Everyone was pretty sick. There was actually one point where like Mark Nardelli he was working with Fibro and Zoo York, I think like same time basically,
Okay.
But I never noticed anything too crazy.
My good friend is named Daniel Pencil.
Iron Ass Pencil. Nice.
Yeah. You Pencil.
Dude, the nicknames on Fibro, when you rode for Fibro, there was about 10 nicknames per person, and they were not nice. They were not flattering.
Fuck.
And Pencil had a million because he'd just land on his ass with every trick. Right on his ass. You're like, how do you, ass of steel? And he had the little T-Rex arms he'd be pushing.
Oh, yeah. People give him so much shit about his arms. I didn't even notice it really until people start making such a deal about it.
Yeah, once they say it.
Gives them heat on that one.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So you rode for Fibro for a while and then went over to Zoo York from there?
Okay, so from growing up, my fucking timelines and like remembering the sequence of things is always fucked up just from like my childhood, basically, from just moving a lot and
yeah, I have the same problem.
Yeah, like blocking things out and like trying to remember, like coming back online. But Fibro, I literally went from the projects of New Bedford with Fibro. They took me to Japan, and I was like, "This
was
is
his first trip out of the U.S."
Yeah. I was like, this is fucking insane, like, and Steve R I couldn't believe he took me because I was just a wild fucking creature at that time. But yeah, man, Fibro was like some of the best times. Like he would load us up in vans and we'd go do fucking 30 demos. we'd go on a 2-week thing and somehow squeeze in 30 demos. And a Fibro demo is like, at least back then, it was like you show up, everyone's yelling like a fucking band of cowboys, and we're just come shred your fucking park, hang out at your shop longer than you want. They'd get the pizza, the beer, the smoke, the weed, fucking hang out at the park longer than you want us there. Peel out on the way out of the demo while we're all, and everyone's fired up. Like the people at the demo, we're fired up. This is pretty much every demo. We destroy until we can't walk and just peel out and fucking be hanging out the windows going, ah! And that's like grassroots marketing right there, you know?
Yeah.
It was chaos. Like, and we do like 30 demos, and it was unbelievable. Like load us up in a van and just go. We drove through the Midwest when it was snowing like 3 feet of snow, and there's fucking 18 wheelers not driving, but we're on the road trying to get to the next fucking indoor park. Like, and yeah, Fibro was unbelievable. And then from there, I'm trying to think how I just remember when I had to quit Fibro, that was like super hard because those dudes were all my family, and they made a huge impression on me, and they like were cool to me as a little ghetto fucking kid, and like they helped form who I was. And I had to call, and like it was, I think I quit Fibro to ride for Birdhouse.
And you did it over the phone?
I want to say I called him. Yeah. Because I think he was in New York. I'm pretty sure I called him and just like cried, you know, like, and Steve was like super understanding. He's like, I was kind of like, this is like a big opportunity. Like it's Tony Hawk and Birdhouse. And like, I was riding for Fibro and going on tons of trips, but like Fibro was still pretty like, they weren't like the biggest company. We were just grinding it out. Like I said, demo, trip to Florida. We did that trip to Japan, and like things were going in the right direction. And I still am kind of conflicted about it because we could have stayed on Fibro and kept going, but like there was an opportunity because Seamus Deegan was the team manager at the time, and we had Westgate, myself, and Susky, and Seamus was talking with Birdhouse, and he just kind of like brokered a deal to like have all of us go. I think that's, oh, you know what? It was me. So it was Donnie Barley that bridged that gap because Donnie was riding for Birdhouse at that time. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was like a little stint where Donnie was riding for Birdhouse, and they were looking to rebuild their AMs and Susky. So it happened. I think it was me and Susky at first that went over. So I was like the AM. And then Susky came over the pro, and then Seamus came over as the team manager, and Barley was there. And then I quit Fibro, and I remember telling Brandon I was quitting, and he was like super upset because me and Brandon were like thick as thieves. He was my little brother, and like every trip we were just side by side. And I told him, and he got super upset but I knew we were going to bring Westgate, but I didn't tell him. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to go ride for Birdhouse. And like, I didn't want to like let the cat out the bag, but Seamus was already like, yeah, we're going to get Westgate to come too. So like, and then he had like a little panic attack, but then we told him, and so we ended up all at Birdhouse, me, Seamus, Susky, Westgate, all riding for Birdhouse, which was a power move, you know, it was a heavy squad right there. And they already had a pretty sick squad. It was sick riding for Birdhouse too. Like,
did you go on any Tony Hawk trips?
Oh, yeah. I went on the Gumball 3000, the Gumball Rally.
You did?
Yeah.
Jaws told me about that. That sounds insane.
All right. So we were Tony Hawk's entourage because Tony Hawk's Tony Hawk, and we're just the scrubs, which is fair enough, you know? He had the nice $1 million car or whatever. We had like a fucking beater, you know? But you just go party to party to party all through Europe.
It's like the Cannonball Run, right? Like you're just like bombing through in fast cars, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you drive all day to like a new party at night, and you just bomb through Europe in these expensive cars, and you meet up and have a big party every night. And it was unbelievable because I was just a young kid, and we're driving through, and we'd go to these parties, and like Lucky Strike, the cigarettes would be a sponsor. And I was like, I'm going to smoke cigarettes, smoke like fucking 15 packs, hanging out with a bunch of people. I met that dude, Adrian Brody. Is he the one with the nose? He was like in the piano.
Sick actor. Yeah.
I literally just hung out with him. I didn't even know who he was until people were telling me. And I was just smoking Lucky Strikes with, like, hanging out with him, just fucking shooting the shit.
Just influencers doing influence shit.
You just influenced somebody.
Yeah, man. And there was a point too where I think Seamus put the wrong gas in the car. He put like diesel or didn't put diesel or something, and we broke down. It was like 3 a.m. and we were trying to we were trying to figure out how to siphon gas out of the thing, and like that was pretty hairy. No one spoke we all spoke English. No one spoke the language. It was fucking sketchy. But luckily they send like people to trail on bikes and find us. So that worked out.
Okay.
We did a demo for an army base in California with Tony. They flew us all in on these like little single engine planes. Got paid like $1,500, $2,000 just to go skate for like the families of the army base. That was pretty epic. Yeah.
The Tony Hawk treatment is a little different than your Fibro experience.
Yeah, we would go and they would give him the key to the city, and we're just like, all right,
man,
eating awesome food and just like getting that star treatment, which was pretty insane.
So does that get you a little jaded when it comes to like getting back to reality? Like, are you starting to get like a little too pampered in some ways?
Not me, dude. I never really did, because I always wanted to work for everything I had. I had that like sense of like, I'm lucky to be here. So like I always wanted to work for everything, almost to a fault, because I missed out on a lot of good things because I was too concerned about not partying. And I was like kind of the dude that like, I worked really hard, but like the cool guys didn't really like me because I was too straight laced, I guess. I don't know. That was what I caught anyways. I was a try hard. I think that's the word. But it was just because my background, you know, it was like, fuck, I'm like, I came from hell. Now I'm living my dream, and I'm scared of drugs and everything. And I just know that I know the capability of a human. Like I know the heights and the lows we can hit. And a lot of kids like that grow up with like a good family, they don't really know the lows like I did at that time. So I was like, I know I'm a savage, you know, like I know I could be like my mom easily. So like I tried everything in my whole heart to not fall into hell, basically. So even when I rode for Tony Hawk, I never took anything for granted, and I fucking tried too hard at times, and I should have relaxed, to be honest.
It's always easy looking back and finding your faults. We're our biggest critics. I've learned that for sure. Like, you know, nobody criticizes me harder than I criticize me.
I could have formed like way more relationships and stuff at that time. But kind of like we were talking about on the other podcast, like it was like how podcasting is, it's like therapy. Like that's what skating is for me. It was kind of like a way for me to deal with my issues. And it wasn't like I wanted to be sponsored, but I just wanted it because I wanted people to acknowledge my hard work and be like, yeah, you're doing great for like where you're at. You know, I just wanted that. Like I didn't have my father either. So like I wanted like a father figure approval thing that I was dealing with. And my mom was a mess, so I kind of wanted both of those that I didn't have. So I was just dealing with like a lot of shit growing up. And even when I was sponsored, I was all over the map, you know?
Shit. What were some of your highlights, like video parts that you were a part of, or that you had your own part, or like something that like you're pretty stoked on? Like probably one of the first ones is always the ones we look back on, but is there like one of your prouder moments that you're like, I was a part of this, or my part was really solid, I worked hard for it, and I'm pretty stoked on it, or whatever? Yeah,
I got a bunch, dude. That's what I love about skateboarding is video parts. Even to this day, like that's what motivates me to do anything, is whether not, I don't film video parts so much these days, but I'll film other people to work on their video parts, because video parts are like the cornerstone of skateboarding to me. Vicious Cycle, I had a part in Zared's video. Super proud of that one. That was huge just because all the homies were in it. Zared was on fire. Zared was having a PJ moment for real. Like Zared had that moment too with Vicious Cycle and just getting on York and killing everything east to west coast and doing it in cornrows and being a scrawny little white kid. Like he wasn't really that scrawny, but a little white kid hanging out in New York City just destroying all the spots is just like so New England to me. And yeah, so Vicious Cycle was a big one. I had a part in, I want to say, issue 66 of 4-in-1. It was a Birdhouse issue. I had a full part in that. Shout out to
Sick.
Joe Kralik. Thanks for that, my G.
Shout out.
My New York part, State of Mind in there was a big one because that one really helped me. That one helped me turn pro eventually. And then I have a part, we put out the original All I Need video. I just put it out independently. And I have last part in that. I don't even think it's online. I just made DVDs and we sold them all. And I have it, but I think the music will just get shut down if I put it online.
Right. Yeah.
But that part was probably like the part that meant the most to me because I had so much footage and it was all my friends and family. Literally, my brother has a part in that video, JV, and my brother share a part in the original All I Need video. Like my good friend Mike Hathaway, Ryan Toole, like all these people in that video. That was a big one for me too. So, but yeah, video parts are fucking the best.
Have you filmed with RB a bunch? Do you have the relationship with him?
Yeah, basically riding for New York, State of Mind. That was like we traveled all over the world.
That was the one that you guys were out here for the premiere, right?
Yeah.
I'm
so
pretty sure.
if I go back to the timeline, let's see, I was riding for Birdhouse, which was pretty epic because they gave us a gas card, a 16-passenger van, the one that Joe Brook has.
Oh, yeah.
That van is still alive, and that was ours.
Big Blue.
Yeah, dude.
I'm actually taking it into the shop tomorrow for Joe.
Fuck yeah, dude. We had that. They gave us that van and a gas card, and we were in Southern California. It was me, John Goman, Matt Ball, Sean Eaton, Westgate, myself, and we would just go out all the time ripping.
That thing has seen some fucking sweaty asses.
Dude, I'm part of that. It's got part of me in that van for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't believe that thing's still going.
It's not the one that Heath drove down El Toro, though, right?
No.
Yeah,
I don't believe so. I don't think so.
I think Joe said it was not that one, but
oh, okay, yeah. So I was riding for Birdhouse. That was fucking sick. And then same thing, like Seamus. Seamus was the dark man. That's what we called him. He was just behind the scenes, wheeling and dealing, and
sick dude.
Yeah, and he started we were kind of doing our thing at Birdhouse, and then somehow the New York connection, it might have been Mark Nardelli who was at Fibro, and then he ended up working for New York. He started getting in Seamus's ear, and it was like another power mover. He's like, let's get Westgate, Shetler, and Susky, and let's bring them all to the East Coast again. So, and at that time, I really wanted to go home just because, I don't know. I love where I live. I love New England. I love this whole place because I've seen the worst and the best of it, and I fucking love it. So any excuse to get back home was cool to me. So we did that. We ended up going from Birdhouse, all as a group, to New York, and then New York was just nonstop traveling. We literally traveled the world the whole time and just demos, street skating, filming for State of Mind. It was unbelievable. Boxes. At one point I had nothing in my room. I had nothing. I didn't have a girlfriend. I wasn't doing drugs. I was just saving money. And I had this New York shoes at the time because they were doing shoes. I had a whole wall of shoes to the ceiling, brand new shoes. Cause I just they just keep sending me stuff. And clothes, I had so much clothes. I would just give everybody all my extra stuff. My whole crew was just decked out with everything, shoes and clothes. And it was more stuff than I could even do anything with. And then it was literally the height of my dream. It surpassed what I thought. And the spots that we went to and the tricks I've seen go down with that New York team was so heavy.
That's when the zoo got bought by somebody, right? And they had tons of money.
Yeah, Mark Echo. It was Echo and
right.
Iconics and Echo, and I think they were selling tons of apparel to Macy's. Maybe they were moving a shit ton.
Were you on the team with Rob Welsh?
No, I wish, because Rob Welsh is a infamous legend, dude. He's from Maine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
He's my homie. He lives in Oakland or Berkeley.
He's the coolest dude. I've met Rob a few times, but I never really got to hang out with him too long. But to me, he's just a fucking rock star. Hey,
Rob and Zared should have their own show together. They're a hoot. And so
yeah.
Pretty sick. Yeah, Rob's funny as shit.
That New York team was so stacked. It was Eli, Forrest Kirby, who is I didn't realize how good Forrest Kirby. No one does until you skate with him.
Totally.
It's unbelievable, dude. KT, Kevin Taylor.
Yeah.
The whole team was incredible at that time.
Right. Huh.
Yeah. It was a super team. Kind of like how DC Shoes used to have a super team. So York just kind of bought a super team. Just sick.
Yeah, I remember it was, you probably were, you're so close to Brandon. I remember how difficult it was for him to leave. Like, I think again, he had the,
Yeah.
you know, I'm like, this is where I've been, and to leave Zoo York, I think it was pretty hard.
Yeah, he's a very like loyal, hardworking dude. Like everything he does, he puts his whole heart into it. So yeah, he was hard for him, you know?
Yeah. You ever go out to his, what has he got, cranberry farm or something?
He moved. He actually sold his cranberry bog.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sold his bog and he lives in Maine now.
Oh, yeah.
He's a fucking Mainer, bro.
Dude, I gotta go to Maine. All my, like, everybody that I know from Maine is just so rad. Like, I got some homies from Maine. I've never been there. That's one of the few states I've never been to.
Oh, dude, it's sick. It's like late. It's
Joey Pepper.
Yeah, dude. Joey Pepper's going back to Boston Legends. I can't believe I didn't think of Joey Pepper, but
yeah,
so good. The style and trick selection.
Yep.
Yeah, Jerry Fowler too. God, I know I was gonna miss people because I'm kind of nervous and excited, but Jerry Fowler, another one from there. Will Harmon, so good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the podcast thing? Like, how long have you been doing this?
Oh man, so 2010 maybe.
Really?
I've been doing my podcast for a long time. I might have been I was an early adopter for sure for like I'm sure people were doing it before me, but like I just latched on to podcasting really, and I just kept going. I think it was 2010 easily.
How did it come onto your lap?
I think I just realized like I got turned on to podcasts from somewhere, and then I want to say Joe Rogan or someone. It was probably him because at one point he's just telling everybody to have a podcast. But it was just someone said something like, if you have something you like talking about, like this is available. And I was like, yeah, like I've always wanted to learn how to express myself and try to say what I mean, and like it was like a test of my character. So I was just like, yeah, I'm doing this. And I just latched onto it, man. And if you go back to my early days of my podcasting, man, it was probably so brutal for people to listen to. And I'm sorry. Because I'd like cut people off. I was overexcited, talk about myself when I shouldn't be talking about myself, not listening enough. Like I've learned so much through podcasting. It's unbelievable. I try to find things like that are like good vehicles for self-development. And I feel like a podcast is that. It's so, you were talking about it. It's like hard to do sometimes because life hits you and you don't like want to go do it. But if you have commitments and you stick to them, they can make you better, and you can figure out how to say what you mean and what you feel. And like, it helps expand your vocabulary, and like you are able to connect with more people. And like, it helps with like depression. Cause like the way I grew up, I have these deep grooves of like depression and sadness that come over. But like, if I talk to someone, have a good conversation, or I sit down and because I do solo ones too, if I can just talk things out, it helps me. And then I get the positive feedback in the comments a lot of the time. And that just kind of like, it helps like get me on a path and figure out things out. So, but yeah, it's been a long time, man. And I just like been going at it, man.
Did it start All I Need?
Yeah. All I Need started around that time, 2009, 2010, right when the whole Zoo York thing was ending. I actually started All I Need when I was riding for Zoo York, because I was riding for Zoo York for a couple years. We did State of Mind. They were talking about giving me a board, a pro model board, because that was like a goal of mine. I really, like I said, I was a try hard because I was like, if that's possible, I want to see if I can do it. So I was like, my goal was get interviews in every magazine, have full-length video parts, do everything I could do to make that happen. And then at Zoo York, it wasn't going to happen. They were talking about it. They said it was going to happen. And then time went by. And I just was like, at one point, I'm like, yeah, this just isn't going to happen here. So like, I got to figure something else out. So then I started All I Need, because I was like, I just didn't know like what was going on with Zoo York. So I just started making apparel, t-shirts, and starting to learn how to sell them and communicate with shops and figure out the ins and outs of doing all this. Getting a logo. I was like, I'm just going to start a brand so I can hook up some people around me too. Because I started skating with all these kids at Skater's Edge in Taunton, Mass. And these kids are like getting so good. And I'm like teaching them skate lessons and stuff. And then they're just like surpassing me at some point. And I'm like, I'm like, I gotta like do something so I can help them out too, because like you gotta pay it forward. That's something I always try to do, because like Jay did that for me at Solstice. He paid it forward. Like skating was good to him, so he helped me. He helped me out with skating, and then I was like, all right, I owe this to someone. So I started All I Need when I was riding for Zoo, and then I just formed a skate team for my company, and then Zoo York wasn't going pro for them, and then I think Seamus might have like reached out, or Charlie Thomas and RP Best. You know those guys?
Yeah.
Charlie Thomas used to skate for H Street, I believe, back in the day, and RP was working at Duff's for a while.
Yeah, I know RP for sure.
Yeah, those guys were working at World Industries at that time.
Okay.
And they were trying to rebuild the team, and I think they either reached out to Seamus or vice versa, and they were like, what's going on with Shetler? And they were just like, Seamus probably like, yeah, I don't think he's going to get a board here, and that's like something he's working on. And they were like, yeah, we'll fucking give him a board and a pro model shoe for World. And they reached out to me and were like, dude, we loved your state of mind part. Like, we love your story. Like, we read your interviews and stuff like that. And they were just like, yeah, let's do it. And I was kind of like leaving Zoo York with this super team, and there's like a big budget, and I was traveling the world and stuff to go ride for like World Industries at that time. It wasn't like a cool brand at all. But they were kind of, which was like not the biggest deal to me, but it was like definitely like sort of a step down, I guess, as far, they didn't have a big budget. It was just like, we're going to try to build something. But since Charlie and RP were like core skaters, and they believed in me, I was like, yeah, I'm down to do this. Like, you guys are going to like build a team around me, basically. And Andrew Cannon too, because Andrew is like riding for them, but he's also kind of like dark man status. Like, he had a hand in building up World Industries, which is epic because he loves World. Yeah, those guys just like made me believe in World, and they were like, yeah, let's do this, man. Like, let's. And I ended up riding for World Industries and getting the pro board, getting a couple pro model shoes, and things started to grow, and we'd do trips, and it was fucking sick, man. So good.
So did that help? Kind of like at the same time, are you like, All I Need is growing at the same time, or are you kind of putting down the back? Like, how's the is it 50-50, or are you going like, I gotta let this chill for a little bit and put more emphasis into World for a minute, or how's it work?
So yeah, no, I told them right from the get-go, I was like, dude, I'm down, but you gotta let me do my own thing too. I've always told people that from like, once I started All I Need, I was fully committed, because I had a team. I was like fully into it, and it was helping me grow, like having a brand and trying to figure out how to get products out there and how to like build a team and set up demos. And like, I learned a lot from riding from these big companies like Zoo York and Birdhouse and stuff, but like,
yeah,
watching someone do it compared to you doing it is a whole different thing, you know? So I just was like, I can never stop doing this. This is my thing. Like, I'm not going to ever stop this. So like, they were totally down, man. They're like, yeah, fuck yeah, keep it going. Like, this is awesome. And I was like, you know, you should want me. All I need is skateboarding, so you should want it to win, basically. You know, like, that's all it is skateboarding. It's like everything we do is like to help build up skateboarding in some capacity, you know, like, so they totally got it, you know, and I just kept it going, you know. I didn't make decks or anything at that time. It was just apparel, t-shirts, hats, beanies, stickers, and I had my team, and they were growing. Kids were getting older and ripping and putting out team videos with that too, which was pretty epic.
Right. Is there something, if you're making a catalog, is there something that's a staple? Like, what's your best soft good thing that you're guaranteed you're going to get a good turnaround? Like,
for All I Need?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Would you say t-shirts? Would you say beanie? Would you say a cap? Like, what would you say is like going to be like pretty confident I'm going to run out of these?
Yeah, definitely t-shirts. Like, we do small runs at everything, you know, and it's grown. The numbers have grown over time, but like, we'll put out like 3 or 4 designs and do a small run of each of them, and we move through them over time. They sell consistently, and we work at it. Like, we do skate jams and demos, and I'll give out a bunch too, like at our jams to prizes and stuff. Beanies always crush and sell really well because we do really good beanies.
Beanies are good.
Yeah, so I'd say beanies and definitely t-shirts and hoodies as well. We do good with our hoodies. Every time we make a hoodie, sell through them pretty fast, you know. My goal is just to like keep making cool stuff and do small runs and just keep it moving so it's fresh and it works.
And then do you break your podcast up into sections, categories?
My podcast?
Yeah, or is it like on YouTube, there's just like a bunch of videos also, right, that aren't necessarily the podcast?
Yeah. So, I love that you want to talk about this because I've been trying to figure out a way to do this because I felt like I was an early adopter and I was trying to figure out a way to build a brand and have the media, but do it in a way that we enjoy it and it's not corny and it's not work and it's something authentic to like, if we're breaking the mold from doing full-length videos and doing the magazine ads and stuff, if we're going to have this other technology, I want to do it in a way that we'd want to naturally do it. So I started filming the sessions that we'd have, all the warm-ups and contests and jams and stuff like that, just from my perspective. Mm-hmm. And then I started creating little videos and contents of people around me up and coming. So we do this video called 5x5s, 5 questions, 5 tricks. Mm-hmm. They get 5 bangers and then I come up with random 5 questions. Just things that are fun, short, quick little things. And then the podcast goes on the YouTube channel. But I have playlists for everything. So you can go on, you can see the team videos, you can see the 5x5s, you can see the podcasts, and it all goes on there. And what I like about YouTube is that you can monetize your channel. Like I had a video go viral early on. It's me. It's online. You can find it. It's got like fucking 5 million, 6 million views. And it's this dude just kind of came at me in Boston and I just verbally assaulted him basically. I was skating a street spot and he just was like some fucking citizen that didn't like that I was skating at a train station. And he like chest bumped me through my board over a fence and like started coming at me. And I just like, I sound like an idiot. I sound like a Massachusetts, like Sully, like someone from the South End. Like I called his sweater vest gay.
I will get a ticket. I don't give a fuck about a ticket.
You gotta listen to me,
Don't touch my shit. I don't have to listen to you for fuck's sake. Get the fuck out of here. Call the cops and mind your fucking business and don't touch the shit. Fucking pussy. Yeah, what? I fucking said it.
I'm not a pussy. I don't want to
Then
fight.
fucking go mind your business.
This is
Call
my-
the cops and go mind your business.
is my
It is
business.
not. You do not control people on the street. So fuck off and go call the cops
This
and
is
mind
my
your
business.
business. No, it's not. Go mind your business. Do what you have to do. I didn't bother you. I didn't come to you and say, hey, don't walk across the street. I didn't come rip your fucking gay shirt up.
Because he was like coming at me through my shit and like the grimy Massachusetts trailer park kid came out and I wanted to hit him, but I'm not going to do that because I just know there's more drama and lawsuits and bullshit. So I just was like calling him a pussy. I was like, I basically did everything I could except fight him. I drew the line and he literally was like in the video was like, I'm not a pussy because I don't want to fight. And I'm like, that's precisely what you are. Like you touched me, you grabbed my shit, threw it over a fence, and then I didn't back down and now you don't want to fight. Like that's precisely what you are as a pussy. You know what I mean? Like, and he got mad, but whatever. I just verbally assaulted him and he backed down and that got a lot of views. So then I realized like, oh shit, like you can monetize a YouTube channel. So I made a little bit of money off that video and then I got some subscribers and then I was just like, fuck man, let's keep this going. So it's been I've got a really good rhythm right now, but it's hard because it's your channel. You got to figure out, just like the podcast, you got to figure out reasons why you want to do it and you got to enjoy it. It's a live thing. Like if it feels like work or it feels fake to you or you're trying to force it, it's not going to work. It's a long-term game. Like I look at YouTube as like retirement. Like I'm building a channel. The audience is growing steady with every video. The money goes up every month. It's like not much money. It's maybe like $50, but like I'm not compromising myself. I don't have to be a fucking YouTuber. I don't have to be some corny dude trying to force it to get views. I'm doing it at a pace that I enjoy and creating content that I enjoy. And I know over time it'll grow. I'm not like thirsty to have to like blow this fucking thing up because I have a lot of other things that I give a shit about, like my team and their video parts and full length videos and things that I love that I'd rather focus on than just trying to become a fucking YouTuber for money. You know, I like the idea. So, but that's my theory is like, I wanted to figure out a way to do it.
I like that
where we could enjoy it.
Yeah, I like hearing that because I've been frustrated with my early process with it as far as like McKenney hits me up all the time. Once again, he was on YouTube and he was a little bit of why I was like, okay, he's like, you got to come on YouTube. That's where like blah blah blah. And then when it goes on there, like, are you sticking up for yourself every time there's a negative comment? Are you not reading the comments? Are you like losing sleep over this one got 5 views as opposed to my regular 10,000? Like are the negatives of it that everyone can visually see affecting you? Like what's your technique with that?
Okay, so I've been doing the YouTube thing for a long time, about the same time as the podcast. So like I went through a point where I stopped doing the YouTube thing because there was like a couple years where I was just like, I'm over this. It's negative. I'm exposing myself to people. Like
Yeah.
there's just some shit with it that I just couldn't deal with. So I stopped doing it. And then I just came to the realization that like I enjoyed it and I didn't want to stop because of that. So then I just picked it back up. And now it's like, I think the people that watch it are like genuine fans. I have some negative shit once in a while, but it's always like bullshit. You can just see through the negativity. I've gotten really good at that. I've gotten really good at thinking of people as like children, basically. Like especially when they come at me with some petty like little kid shit. And they also they're pretty savvy online. They'll come at you with some real shit, like a critique, and cut to your core.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of just shrug it off now because the way I look at the YouTube channel is like I'm collecting memories of all my friends, and I have 10 years of memories, and I go back. And you want to know what feeds my fire too is like I'll go back 2 weeks on my channel and I'll watch the fucking 3 videos I put out or whatever, and like it'll make me so grateful because I'm like filming little kids like at the skate park, and the kids I do lessons with, they're getting older and older. Eventually they're not doing lessons, but we're just showing up and I'm filming them and they're loving it. They're showing their family. Like I have this whole community of people involved with the channel, and I watch it before I go skate, and I'm like, this is getting me so fucking hyped because I'm like, it's literally me hanging out with a bunch of people I give a shit about, and they're ripping, and I'm like, it'll bring me to tears sometimes. I'm like, dude, my life is good. There's no way my life can't be good because I can just go watch my channel and be like, look at all these fun times we had, all these awesome things we've done. Like I can go back 10 years and just like literally sit there and be like, you're an asshole for if I take things for granted, I'm a fucking asshole, you know? Like it holds me accountable. Because I can't complain. I'm like, yeah, this is all good shit. This is everything I wanted. This is the dream. Is skating with my friends, having fun, and like watching people progress, and like just laughs. Like my channel is all about fun, man. It's just making weird noises. Kids are like hyping each other up. Like my homies are out in the street and we're running into crazy shit. I have a video on my channel where a dude comes up to us and is trying to get me to let him suck my dick. Like that was a video that happened. Like he's verbally in the middle of COVID. For like 10 minutes, he's pulls his mask down, shows his whole face, and he's like, why won't you let me suck your dick? And I'm filming my friend. I'm like, dude, just no, I don't want you to suck my dick. You know? Oh, that's it.
No, it's okay, but not too bad.
Yeah, he's close.
Pretty much that job. But
yeah.
We'll see what you can do now.
Next try.
I'm so fucking cock.
I don't want you to suck my cock, bro. I told you. No thank you. No thank you. Heterosexual. Got a girl. Don't want a blowjob. Appreciate it. It's a nice gesture. Not into it. Like shit like that. I have crazy shit on the channel, but then I also have like I'm near the skate park, so I do skate camps, I do skate jams. I go to the skate jams that other people are hosting, and I just document them and film them, and like it just like helps keep me like on point, you know, and it's awesome.
I think what you're saying is the positive outweighs the negative.
Definitely. And the way I know that is because regardless of the comments and stuff, even though the majority of my comments are positive, all I gotta do is watch the video. I'll literally watch it before I go in and skate. Before I go on the session, I'll watch it. I'll take like 10 minutes before I get out of the car and watch it with the speakers so it's all loud. And I'm like, yeah, my life is good. I literally am like, this is unbelievable that we can do this, you know?
Fuck. All right. Well, hold on. I'm getting a news break right now.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on YouTube. Thanks to this guest, Anthony Shetler has brought us back. We're staying on YouTube.
Yeah,
McKenney,
dude,
you're stoked.
Just look at it like you're collecting memories, like things you really enjoy, and just put it there and let it live out there. You're always going to have people that are going to be assholes, but overall, you're going to win because the people that love your content are going to gravitate towards it. You just have to find ways to make the content that you enjoy and put it out there and just keep going. And over time, you could monetize it and it could be a stream of revenue that you could do more cool shit with. Like that money from YouTube, I've taken that money and put it into full-length videos. So it's like I'm taking that corny YouTube fucking money and putting it into what I really love, video parts. Like we put out 3 full-length videos for All I Need, and that money has gone into that, like making DVDs, paying for artwork for the covers and the titles and stuff. Like I just transfer it into the things I love, you know?
Sick. All right. Well, I'm going to look into all this stuff, and I just like staying on top of things and like being present in what I need to be in, right? Like, it's like, why wouldn't, like, if you're doing this, you know, it's like people are like, I don't need Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's like, you kind of do. It sucks that you do, but if you're going to have a platform, you want to reach, because some people are only on this, some people are only on that, and some people really enjoy watching you, and some people only want to listen to you. But there's a way to just make everyone happy and get the best, you know, your package goes out to everybody, and then they can suck my dick.
I'll send you the video. That guy was very adamant about insane. It made me feel good. I was like, he really wants to suck my dick right now. Like, I must be the shit.
Whoa. He was sucking my dick. Do you have a dream guest?
I do, but I kind of wanted to go back to YouTube real quick. Okay. Just before we move forward.
Hold on, let's rewind.
Thank you. I'm dwindling down the platforms I like to use. Like I had all of them at once and I was spread too thin. So now I'm like really focusing on Instagram and YouTube because those are 2 I can manage and put, because you don't want to spread your life force too thin because literally you're putting your life into like silicone wires. Like it's your energy, your thing and everything. And if you're trying to do too much, you're spreading too thin. Okay. So you want, like Tim McKenney, if I was going to tell him what he should do, he should focus on one thing because he has a lot of power and energy. And if he puts it into one thing, it's going to shine bright, you know?
And now, another first impression with Timothy Donald McKenney.
First impressions of East Coast legend Anthony Shetler was looking up YouTube about 3 years ago, looking up Ron Allen and seeing a podcast. Didn't know who Anthony was, but by the end of the podcast, I'm crying for Ron Allen because Ron Allen's talking about how he has no love on the West Coast, and I'm sitting there screaming at their podcast going, you got nothing but love on the West Coast, Allen. What are you talking about? Since then, so much has happened. I've watched Anthony all the time. Ron's been on the show saying, Tim, everything went full circle, and it kind of all started with people like Anthony. He's a legend. He's looking out for the kids, and he's just doing it right. He's been through the struggles. He knows how it is to live and to make it through it. So I respect him on a multi-levels. If you get a chance, he's got a thing with him and his girls on poles. You got to look it up. It's like a day in the life with Anthony. He's got his girl and her girl on a pole, and it's a riot. It's my favorite edit that he's got. Love you, Anthony.
Hey, it's Corey at Blue Plate, 3218 Mission Street. Come see us. Meatloaf, fried chicken, deviled eggs, Dollar Olympia beers. We're here every day of the week. We got a garden and we got smiles on our faces. Come let us make you happy.
Some people just get into it and they're so thirsty, they try to do whatever. They juggle for the fucking audience and then they get their audience, but then they fall apart. Kind of like, here's an analogy, and I hate to say this, but like kind of like the Jackass CKY stuff. Like they blew up huge, but it was like a house of cards. Like they're all injured and drug addicted, and like the thing that got them, the thing they did to get famous and money is like now it's not sustainable because they're hurting themselves on some level. You know what I mean? So like people do that. They like want something so bad that they'll sacrifice who they are to get it. And then it all falls apart anyways because you can't maintain it. You know, you have to be authentically yourself and actually enjoy it. And that's hard to do and figure out. But the best guest, I've had so many guests on my podcast that I didn't think I could, you know, like, but Tony Hawk for sure. I think I blew that chance because I overhyped it one time. I was like going back and forth trying to get it to go, and then I just like overhyped it. Tony Hawk would be one though.
I have Bill Murray.
So we're not just skateboarders. Bill Murray
No.
is such a solid one. God damn.
I told, it was episode 2, I think, my second episode ever. And somebody asked me, he's like, who's your, like, and I was like, if I could get Bill Murray on, I'll quit. Like, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do one after Bill Murray, you know?
Just keep putting that same one out every month and people will enjoy it.
It's Tony Farmer, actually. And Farmer and I always text back and forth. He's like, I'm still working on Bill. I'm going to get him on your show.
Dude, you are. It's going to happen. The first way to make it happen is to talk about it. It's out in the ether now.
Yeah, but that dude's fucking gnarly. Like, you can only like leave him a message. Like, he's so removed from like communication and shit. Like, he doesn't have email. He doesn't have like anything, you know? So it's like,
I always hear stories about Bill out here because I think he goes to Martha's Vineyard or like lives out there or visits there. So there's always like stories about him being legendary.
his son owned a bar, I believe, and he showed up and served. He was behind. I was just like, imagine that shit.
Yeah.
All right, we're running towards the end, but there's a few just kind of quick questions I want to ask you.
Let me think of a guest.
Oh yeah, your dream
not
guest,
a skateboarder.
not Tony Hawk. Okay.
Okay. God, let's go skateboarding. Not skateboarding guest. I would have said DMX, but he passed. Like DMX was like would have been really sick. Darkman X, dude. Yeah. He was awesome, dude. His music helped me out when I was going through like a lot of hell. Like literally, he'd have prayers and stuff, and it was that little bit of like positivity in between the like negative, like because you could tell he was authentic, and his music was like pretty raw. But then he'd have these like moments where he'd have sobriety moments where he's like trying to do good, and that shit always helped me because he's just really good. He was almost like a preacher, you know?
Yeah,
Hip hop in that sense helped me a lot too.
And the energy of his music was just like, I mean, you need like an extra hour on the road or you're falling asleep. You throw that on and you're like fucking in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, fuck yeah, that was so good. Kevin Garnett would be sick. Just because he's fucking Kevin Garnett, dude. And you talk some shit and like, that'd be pretty sick, dude.
Are you basketball, baseball, or football?
I like all, but I don't even really watch them that much. I just started watching the Celtics again, like putting it on, but not even finishing the full games just because I go
Are
to
you
bed
a Patriots fan?
I mean, fair weather, unfortunately. I know skateboarding trumps everything, obviously, you know?
But
Like,
I mean, if you're watching sports, like which one are you going to be most attached to?
Celtics, basketball.
Celtics. Okay.
I loved basketball. I love playing basketball and watching it. I've been watching it a lot. But
you
I mean,
see that Warriors game the other night?
Yeah, I did. It was fucking awesome, man. Insane, dude.
One of the best games I've seen in a while.
It's crazy, man. They're hot and cold.
Yeah, it was fucking nuts.
That's
So
awesome.
Kevin Garnett, dream guest?
Yeah, definitely. Just because I feel like he'd talk some good shit and I could get some good stories out of him. And he's legendary.
All right. Okay.
Anything's possible.
Yeah. Do you listen to podcasts?
Yeah, I do. I listen to a lot of comedians. I really like obviously Joe Rogan's like the Podfather.
You listen to him regularly or just select guests?
I go through stages where I'll listen to a bunch of his and then I'll stop listening for a long time and I'll catch up later on. I'll listen to a bunch. There's some that I skip, but not that many.
The Mike Tyson one was fucking all time.
So good, yeah. Mike Tyson. That's another podcast guest. Mike Tyson. I'd be scared, kind of like. But fuck yeah,
dude. He scared Joe Rogan.
I know.
Joe Rogan was laughing. He's like, "That ain't funny, Joe."
And Joe could probably fight him somewhat.
Yeah,
like I would
yeah.
I'd be like he'd just manhandle me. It'd be embarrassing.
More
podcasts would be. I really like fuck is the name? Let me open it up real quick. That way. Let's see.
I like Bill Burr. I listen to him. They keep me laughing.
Bill Burr's
I got a
awesome.
few regular ones. I like
Bad Friends with Andrew Santino and Bobby Lee. That one's fucking hilarious.
I don't know that
two
one.
comedians and they're hilarious. A redhead, a ginger, and an Asian guy, and they're just fucking so funny. And the whole concept is that they're bad friends, so they bicker and fight and like.
Oh, really?
But it's so good. That one, dude, I've laughed so hard listening to that one.
The one that I just picked up on is called Smartless, and it's Jason Bateman and Will Arnett.
Ooh, nice.
That one's pretty fun. That one's good. Like, yeah, I like having some comedy ones. Conan O'Brien's all right. And then I fucking love the true crime shit. Is like, I'm always hooked on that. Like, if you got fucking Manson or fucking Unabomber or something, I'm in. I'm like, what?
Dude, my lady's into that stuff. That's sick. She loves like murder mystery stuff. Oh, dude, congratulations with Chris D'Elia. His is amazing because like he's been through some shit and they canceled him, and then he lost all his sponsors, and now he's just doing it independently. I think he has like a not a GoFundMe, but like a Patreon. So like, and he's a comedian, so he can tour and do that. But like, his is killing it right now because he's like super free. He's just saying whatever the fuck he wants. He just had a baby. Man. He just had a baby too, so he's like being brutally honest about everything, and like, he's one of funny. Sick. Jordan Peterson. I really like Jordan Peterson's stuff a lot. I don't know. Do you know who he is?
Oh no, I don't know.
Oh, he's a Canadian, but he's taught at Harvard.
Okay.
He was a professional psychologist. Like, he had to practice for a while, but he has this whole series on YouTube where he goes through all the biblical stories and kind of breaks it down from like a psychological angle instead of like, so it's kind of cool, man. He's like one of the great minds of this. He's kind of controversial. Like, some people love him or hate him or whatever, but I really like his stuff because I don't know. He just talks about like the core of what it is to be human and the psychology behind people. And like, growing up with my mom was a huge like psychology test, like trying to figure out why she was the way she was and like what she was thinking. And like, he fills in a lot of gaps because he's dealt with every type of person. So like, listening to that is pretty awesome.
Okay. Favorite skateboarders of all time? Do you have like a 3 or 5? I know there's a billion, but like, do some like instantly pop out to you in your mind?
Yep. Brian Anderson.
Yeah.
Who's another big East Coast like influence.
BA.
Connecticut. I love big skateboarders because I'm not a big skateboarder, so I like big burly skateboarders like that. Big ass pushes and like classic simple tricks like front blunts and tray flips and just back tails, just done well. Yeah. So BA, I'm Donnie Barley, obviously front threes. The push is timeless. The style is timeless. Like, just the longevity of Donnie Barley and just knowing him as a person and seeing him grow and develop into the man he is with kids and a family life and still involved with skating and just and then Westgate is the GOAT. He's the fucking GOAT. Like, on top, like his skating, I know everyone knows his skating, but as a human, Brandon is one of the best people. He's hilarious. He's fucking wicked smart. He's like hardworking. He's like everything. He's all of it at once. He's the complete human that I love.
I gotta get him on here somehow.
Easy.
He's capable of Zoom, right?
I'll help him. If he's not, I'll help him. He's in Maine, so he might not have Wi-Fi. I don't fucking know.
I haven't been to him and Leo Romero's chemistry together is beautiful to watch.
Dude, Leo.
From my perspective, Westgate, if he doesn't know you, he's a little like to himself, but Leo can pull him out of his shell. And like, I've gone on America trips and done some fun stuff with those guys. I love them both. They're fucking Westgate. Yeah. Dude, Westgate came to San Francisco. I got to give some props to John Miner because in Mansouri, the way that it was filmed and their knowledge of San Francisco and what they wanted it to look like was definitely a part of it. But dude, people live here that would die for that part. Like, he came and fucked San Francisco up. Yeah, it was sick, dude. I saw it at the premiere in LA at the Hollywood Bowl, and I was just looking at like I was with my SF crew, and we were just like, oops. Like, he just pooped on everybody, dude. It was sick. I was so hyped on that.
Now, and just imagine being a little bit older than Westgate and he being so good and just like, he was like doing laps on me when we were growing up, dude. I always never felt good because Westgate was so good. I never felt like I was that good at skating because Westgate was that good, which helped me push myself.
Talk about a powerful push. Some of those ollies, like the one that sticks out to me is the one that's like up a gap up onto like a loading dock. I think Sinclair has the van somewhere in there, and it's like in like a crusty alley or something.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we were driving by and we're like, Westgate, ollie up that. Like, no way. And he's like, okay, pull over. And he did it. And they were just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, dude, Brandon's done a lot of that, man. He's unbelievable on a skateboard, and he's not that tall, so the fact that he has the pop that he doesn't make any fucking sense.
Oh, man.
I got a question for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm down.
I feel like you don't know yourself unless you can name your top 3 favorite movies. And keep in mind, like, they're going to change over time, but being on the spot right now, you gotta nail top 3 movies.
Okay, well, I know that I have to just list Star Wars because it's the most like watched movie in the history of my life, and I don't know how I feel about saying that at this stage of my life. But like, if I took all my years together and was like, this movie was very important to me for a majority, right? I'm gonna stoke out my fiance and say Amelie because it's her favorite movie, and we're about to get married, so I need to have,
What's that one about? I don't know that one.
I don't either, but it's my favorite.
Fair enough. Congrats too, man. That's unbelievable.
No, August, we're going to do it. We're going to just dive in and say it's on. And the third one, dude, it's hard. 3 is hard because like instantly my brain does go to Scorsese. You mentioned that earlier. When I was young, I got, before the internet, I got a book of every movie that was made, and it breaks it into like directors, actors, and stuff. So you could go to like Robert De Niro and see a list of every movie he was in, and I would just rent those at Blockbuster in a row. Like, I don't care, I'm just going to get this. I don't know about it, but I need to watch every movie De Niro's ever been in.
Yes.
And a lot of people, Taxi Driver's up there. It's got to be maybe in the top 3. He's done some amazing work. Raging Bull, obviously. Godfathers 1, 2, and 3 are fucking beyond epic, and like really
we gotta get top 3. You gotta narrow it to top 3. See, you're doing what everyone does.
I'm taking Amelie back out. I'm taking Amelie out. I just needed that for honorable mention.
He loves you. He's marrying you. It's fine.
But we're gonna go. What was the first one? Star Wars, Taxi Driver, and the third one. This is gonna be a random one. Barfly.
Barfly.
Yep. We're going to go Barfly from a guy that's been sober for 6 years. But it's fucking epic. It's so good. I've drank a lot in my life, and I've watched that movie a lot of my life, and it's pretty fucking epic. It's Mickey Rourke, and it's like, to all my friends. He's just like fucking this hammered dude.
To all my friends!
I have a love-hate relationship with alcohol. I've dealt with it in a lot of different ways and dealt with people that have dealt with it in a lot of different ways. And that movie glorified it to me at a time that I thought that was what was cool. And now I look back at it and it shows me it's funny because the narrative's the same, but it's your perspective. So when you look at something and you're like, we're doing it. And then 10 years later, you're like, we're not doing it. Like, that's, so
I get it.
That's where I'm at with all that. But yeah, I'd say off the cuff, those would be the 3. I want to say a comedy, but I don't see that many good comedies that I want to watch all the time, which is sad. I feel like to make a good comedy is one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah, I'm searching for a movie to bump one of my top 3s out.
What's your top 3?
It's hard to like bump one out. I'll say that because I've been searching for one, and then I found one that I wanted to put in there, but then I forgot the title, and I was like, "Fuck, I don't even remember the video." But okay, Forrest Gump, because everyone thought he was retarded and he didn't know what love is. And he did. He knew what love was. He was just simple, and he was like a good dude, and like everybody was rough, And then that's just a classic, I think, And then Jenny's story in that too. There's never enough rocks in the house and all that stuff. And but yeah, so Forrest Gump, Finding Nemo.
Wow.
Because Finding Nemo, his dad goes all across the whole ocean fighting jellyfish and sharks and everything just to get Nemo, which is pretty classic, And then now my third one, where I'm going to space it because I'm on the podcast. Finding Nemo. Oh, I know it. It's Sword in the Stone, the animation.
Is that real?
I don't know that one.
It's the older one, but it's the story of King Arthur. It's just the young kid, and he meets Merlin, and the wizard teaches him all about life through turning him into a frog, a squirrel, a fish, and he teaches him about predator-prey relationship, and like there's just like a lot of like knowledge in there that if you watch even now as an adult, you're like, whoa, this is like pretty epic, you know? So like, yeah, Sword in the Stone, Finding Nemo, Forrest Gump. Top 3.
Okay, I'm bumping I'm bumping Barfly out of the running, and Harold and Maude is now in the top 3.
Ooh, I like it, dude.
I forgot about Harold and Maude. We got Star Wars, Harold and Maude, and Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
That's a good
solid
eclectic mix. So like, I'm not gonna get too much of one, and yeah, Harold and Maude is forever. That one's so good. It was mostly filmed in my area too.
Oh, right.
Great soundtrack. Cat Stevens, just like, so I love that.
That's a solid top 3, my friend.
Okay, so top 3, but we're gonna say Mount Rushmore, hip hop. Who's your Mount Rushmore of hip hop?
Okay, Brother Ali. You know Brother Ali?
Sometimes I feel like a stranger. Baby, I ain't from here.
One of the greatest ever. And just overweight, albino, great rapper. Puts his whole heart in there. Like every song has like some depth to it, that just a whole catalog too. So many albums, and just like I love people that put their whole life into the thing, and like he's done that with his music, like undeniably. Brother Ali, God, I would say Tupac, but like, because Tupac was like helped me out a lot growing up too, but like I can't listen to it so much now because it pulls me back into like depression at times, you know, like it's that powerful. So Talib Kweli, I like Talib a lot. That his albums are really good. He has such full catalog. So let me see top 3. Brother Ali for sure. Jay-Z. I like Jay-Z. Just good flow. His business mind, and just his direction with his albums, and just the nonstop. And I'm not even talking about any of the politics or anything outside their music. I just like the albums and the music. So Jay-Z, Brother Ali, and then the third one is tough. I don't know if I'm gonna put Talib or Tupac. So many good ones. Wu-Tang could be in there. I'm gonna put Tupac in just because. They helped me out when I needed it. So
nice, yeah. What state would we put the hip hop Mount Rushmore in?
What state?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, New York, right? I guess. I don't know.
I guess New York.
New York would be the
It'd be
spot.
funny if you put it in like Mississippi or somewhere in the South. It would freak people out.
Yeah, definitely. They wouldn't be able to handle it. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Nowadays it's so crazy because of the technology and stuff. I feel like we're spreading out now. Everyone's moving and spreading out, and hopefully find their own space and figure out a way to build industry. And like, we don't all have to be in cities, and we can kind of like still network and connect. That's the beauty of the technology. Is as much as we use it for stupid shit, like to fight with each other and to cause outrage, it's like we could use it to build awesome things with your friends and your family, and build communities and industry together, and network, and like live your dreams. Like that's what I've been trying to do. Is all I need is like use the technology to be able to showcase what we love and what we do, and find ways to monetize it, and use the technology to do that. And you could do that. Like back in the day, I'd have to go to California. Like I drove across the country to get to where the magazines were and where all the skating was, and then there was nothing going on. But now it's like everybody can broadcast, or anybody who wants to can build something and figure out a way to do it. And yeah, I think that's awesome. So we could put that hip hop Mount Rushmore anywhere, bro. Kansas, who cares, bro?
Whoa, slow it down.
Hawaii.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Okay, let's preface this without like, I know it could be a huge rabbit hole and be too long of a discussion. So with that being said, I feel like you're a guy that I'd like to talk to, like a whole discussion, like a whole podcast about depression, right? And we've already had lots of discussion, but do you think there's some way that you could sum up in a brief description of like something that's helpful for you? Myself included, a lot of people are depressed. And I think if we can help anybody, I'm smiling. And I like to try to have a little segment each time when it's genuine, when it's with somebody as yourself that like grew up in a tough place and you've had a lot of obstacles. And so I feel like you've probably learned something along the way that's helped you, coping skills or whatever they may be.
Yeah, some of the things you mentioned, I've definitely incorporated in my life, like trying to eat better helps because then that stabilizes your mood, you know, like the highs and lows of eating shitty food and the sugar and all that stuff. So I try to cook every night at home, which helps keep me like grounded and feel good and eating well, but I still eat like junk, you know, but I manage it. So diet for sure is solid. I do meditate a little bit. I got on a big kick of meditating and it really helped me because I was just like, it helped me let go of things and just like be present and like it was good practice daily to remind me to be there. And I don't do it as much right now, which I should do it some more. Lowering my drug consumptions, like the coffee thing. Like I only drink coffee when I'm podcasting. So this week I got 2 because I did a podcast like a couple days ago and then we're doing this today. So I got 2 coffees and fucking I really love it, you know?
I go to bed and I swear to God, right before I go to sleep, I'm like, I can't wait for a coffee in the morning. It's like the first thing. I don't even shower. I just go straight to the cafe. It's like a block away. And they have it. They know what I order. It's the same one every day. They're like, hey, Greg. I'm like, and the first sip, it really is like the first shot at a bar. Like it's go time. It's like, okay, it's on now.
And the crazy thing about coffee is like, you don't realize it, but it's a drug and it drains your adrenal glands. Like I sweat when I drink coffee. If I'm like a good cup of Joe and you're like juiced and you're like, then you're tired and you don't even realize and you need it again and again. And then you're having coffees every day and then you're jaded and it's not even working. And you're like, and then
I only have one every morning. That's it.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Control.
Like sometimes I'll fade during the day and I'll just have an apple or some type of sugar or something, but I try never to have. Yeah, because it's a drug, but it's my only drug. I'm avoiding heroin and I got coffee, so I'm okay.
Like these things are, you know, maybe I'm like over the top with it, but we're lucky to be alive, and I'm very grateful that I'm breathing, and I'm so thankful for my faculties, my sight, my vision, my smell. Like all these things are gifts we have, and it's hard to remember that because life is not easy and the world's crazy, and we're in the middle of a collective psychosis and we're going through crazy change in time right now, and it's a lot. People are feeling a lot of heaviness, but like I really think that we're born with all everything we need is like in us. We're gifted that. Like it's the lights came on, and you can smell and see and hear. And now what you do with that is up to you. So like I'm trying to get to the point where I don't need any of the stuff and I'm content, you know? And that's hard. It's a process. You're growing. You start out young, you come out the vagina kicking and screaming. It's chaos, new world. Your senses are turned on. Everything's stimulating. Your brain's forming. You're trying to figure out who you are, why you are, who this person is, what they're doing. And then the whole world's coming at you and you got to somehow learn to balance. Just like when you get on a skateboard, it's like you get on, you don't know what you're doing. It's dangerous. You're fucking trying to learn how to balance and figure it out and forge some sort of style and just like figure out how to control it, you know, to like, but not too much. So you can still have a good, nice style. You don't want to hang on too much and you don't want to let go too much. So it's same in life. You want to have a grasp on life, but you also want to let it move and follow it. And like, so yeah. And depression, I just say like, try to do things for others. Like that's helped me a lot. And I know that's like cliche when we're talking about cliche things, but it really does help me. Like when I film someone else or like I do a skateboard lesson or I work at my job even though I don't really have to, but I still go there and I know I play a role in helping that place be successful. Like even if it's a small bit, it's like, and I know all those people and they, you know, Linda's got kids and, you know, all these people have families and they need that place and they might not even want to be there. Sometimes I go in and they're like fucking hate their job, you know, but they need that place just as much because they need that paycheck. It helps sustain them. It's like I'm part of something. The same when you're on a skate team. It's like making a video together and you put your all into your video part because you know you're all going to have epic video parts and then that's going to make the video that much stronger and you're part of something and you're all working on goals together. So like doing things like that, like trying to help others, like helps me get away from depression. And like I was saying, when I watch the YouTube channel, I go back and I'm like, yeah, like I'm filming all these people and they're awesome and they're like all my friends and like they do the same for me. And it's like, we just pass it back and forth, you know? And it's like, that helps keep me from getting into depression because it's hard for me to be ungrateful when I look back at those videos or listen to the podcast, like trying to build a platform for other people and sharing ideas and stuff like that. Like just it's about development. Understand yourself so that you can do for others. You know, if you understand yourself, you can take care of your needs, and then you can develop to where you can do more for other people. And then they'll do it for you, and then your life won't be as heavy because you'll all carry your own load so that you can help each other, you know? Like that was a lot of my growing up was like I felt like I was carrying a lot of my family's load because they were like falling apart when they needed to keep it together, especially my mom. Like she would always fall apart, and all I really needed was her to just stay a little bit stronger and not give in to the things, you know, but it wasn't in the cards for her. So like I carried a lot of different loads throughout my life, and I just felt like it was weighing me down. So my goal was like never to do that. I always want to be self-sufficient and understand myself so I'm not a burden on other people, because I didn't want to do that. So that's really important, and that helps me with depression. It was just knowing that I'm carrying my weight, and I can do for others when I can. I can't always do things for others, but the small things I can do, it makes me feel good, you know? And that's why I still do skateboard lessons to this day. Like I go hang out with a kid, teach them how to balance. And half of it is just mentoring, like just talking to them, letting them express themselves. Like kids need that. They just need an adult, a healthy adult to let them exercise who they are and figure it out, you know? So like a lot of it is just that. We're like kicking our boards around and just practicing talking and figuring out who he is or I am and like letting them play, you know? Like
yeah, and it goes both ways because like to stay young, you need to stay around youth. Like, you know, like their energy, like people wonder why skaters are always like seem young and everything is because, dude, I'm in the van with an 18-year-old still, like whatever, like I'm learning like, you know, whatever, like the new cool shit is because this kid next to me's got the cool shit or whatever. Like I think it works both ways. And like, yeah, it's like good to give, but like, in a weird way, you're getting something too.
Yeah, if you can serve others even in small ways, it'll only help you and it'll come back tenfold for you, man. And you'll feel like you have purpose in life, and that's what I'm really grateful for. Is like, no matter how I grew up and all the hell I went through, it gave me like a sense of focus, and it helped me feel like I have purpose. Like I'm meant to be here because I survived these things, and I've been able to control myself to where I'm in control and I can try to do good in this world. And that's what I want to do. I don't want to, it's like no one's perfect and you make mistakes and people will hold you to the fire nowadays and all that bullshit. But like, I'm not afraid of that shit. Like, I don't care. Like, you can't cancel a human being. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. People make mistakes and they're going to continue. There's going to be new people every fucking day. And they're going to come in this world and they're going to make all the same mistakes and they're going to grow and learn, hopefully, especially if we don't treat them like shit because we think we're better than them. So like, it's just a lesson people got to learn, including myself. And I've made tons of mistakes, but I've learned from them and try to keep moving forward. And the more of us that do that, man, and reach out to each other and try to talk about it, the better we'll be.
Oh, mama.
All right. I like that.
Mic drop.
Okay, we're going to end with the all I need theme. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner. All you need.
Cracker Barrel breakfast.
Dessert?
Okay, so this one was passed on to my father, and he was lactose intolerant, but he still passed it on to me. It's you take cake. In my case, I like chocolate cake with vanilla frosting, like French vanilla frosting. You put it in a bowl. You take whole milk. Schmit, are you with me?
Yeah.
So you get a thick piece of cake and you fill it up about halfway with that milk. And then what you do with that is you get the fork and you mush that bitch in there until it's like a soupy cake, like milk mix. And then you eat that and you jizz all over the place because it's that good.
You better leave this shit in here. Don't be this is negative or not. This is life.
All right.
I hope this is a family-friendly podcast. Sorry.
No, it's great. Millimeter wheel size.
52 millimeter. I used to be 51, but I graduated 52, and eventually I'll be 53, but 52 at the moment.
Board width.
I was 8'1" for a long time, but all I need is 8'25".
And truck brand.
Thunder. All I need is Thunder. I've been riding them from the beginning. They sponsor me, like I said. They flow.
Nice.
Real skateboarders were doing it.
Fucking shout out to my boy Frankie Gerwer over there, huh?
Shout out.
Frank, one time I was trying to smith grind a rail at a school out there, and he lent me his shirt because Gabe Morford was like, you got a dark shirt on, we need a bright one. So Frank probably was out drinking all that night, sweat stains, all that stuff. He's like, yeah, I got a bright orange fucking shirt. Lent it to me, smith grind the shit out of that rail, shot the photo, bada bing. Frank's the man.
I fucking appreciate you, and I'm stoked. I feel like whether or not it's true, I'm going to believe it's true. I think we did something really cool today where we both did each other's podcast, and it'll be interesting to see how it comes together. Like maybe the first one comes out. They both come out at the same time, but one is East Coast and one is West Coast.
Oh, I see. So like the 3-hour difference?
Yeah,
That's
so like the first one ends and you're like, the next one comes, but not till like McKenney is going to come on 6 a.m. Watch yours and then be like, where's Schmitty's? And be like, yeah, it was 6 a.m. Pacific.
Fuck are they, dude? I need my Talkin Schmit, man.
Good idea, man. It's a good idea.
Today was hard, man. I did this hammocky tribute, but it was like right before I talked to you. And like, seriously, when we first started talking, I was like, I might break down and cry right now or like during this interview. And that's going to be gold. So like, if I do, here's my present to you.
Yeah,
but
man.
like it turned out okay, but it was hard. That was tough. But yeah, like whenever we can just text each other and figure it out. The last thing is all you need for what song ends this podcast.
Ooh, I get to pick a song to end this. Also, about crying on a podcast, I've definitely done it multiple times. It's hard sometimes when you're sharing yourself and talking and memories come up and it comes out. It's takes strength to like let it out, man. So
big time.
I did a podcast one time, like right around when my mom passed, and it was literally me talking about my mom, and I cried through that whole podcast, and it was so therapeutic. And it was crazy because I was like, you know, when you take a loss or you lose someone, there's like that silence. It's like when you first hear about it, there's this like silence that just like, you don't know what to do or what to think, and you're just lost, and you're just like, it's that dark feeling in your heart, and you're just like, you feel like you're out in the whole universe and there's nothing around you, and you're just in this space to deal with whatever you just absorbed. It was that, because I had my headphones on and I'm in front of a microphone and I'm just like dealing with my mom's death, and I'm in an empty room with nothing but my thoughts. And it was just like, I felt like I was out in space just trying to comprehend what was going on.
That was a perfect description, dude. That was point on with that feeling.
Yeah, because I've lost
I know that one.
My mom and my father. My father at a young age, and then my mom, and just like, it's never easy, man. Those are the losses you take to your grave. And that's where depression creeps back in when you think about that stuff. So it's good to talk about it and let it out from time to time, because that helps. That's another thing that'll help with depression, is if you can learn to express what you're feeling. And sometimes the shit is so heavy, it's hard to like, it takes a lot of strength to do that. And sometimes you're not willing to do that, you know? All right, I'm going to find a song right here.
All right.
I'm going to do Florence and the Machine, Between Two Lungs.
All right.
That's my song.
All right. Well, there we go, kids. It's a wrap. I hope you've listened to both podcasts. All I need was our initial part of the journey, and then finishing it up right now. All I need is All I Need t-shirt. I'll send you let's do a shirt swap maybe.
Easy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That'd be fun. Dude, appreciate it. This was a lot of time, and it was fucking rad though. I'm psyched.
Yeah, and then same, man. Thank you for taking your time to do this, and for just being you, man, and for sharing. So thank you.
And if you run into the brick butt pencil, dude, just give him a big lovely hug, because that's one of my favorite human beings.
Yeah, I will, definitely. He has one of the best laughs too. It's like
when he was on fire drinking was when I was on fire drinking, and he came and spent a lot of time out here, and we became really close. It was like some fun fucking times. I love Dan.
You fell for those baby blue eyes. That's what it was, dude.
Yeah, he's a charmer. He had no problem in the old bars with the old ladies. I'll tell you
I've
that.
seen it time and time again, dude.
The arms just stay close, so you can't tell. And he's like,
dude, thank you so much, and we'll definitely give it a little bit of time, and then we got a podcast again because we could do endless ones, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah. We'll take it easy, stay safe, and fuck, dude. Someday our paths will cross in real life, hopefully.
Dude, I'm gonna bring my skate team out to SF, and we'll
Oh yeah, hit me up if you guys are doing that for sure.
Definitely,
we'll kick it.
All right, man.
All right, cheers.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Talking Schmit. You can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Anchor, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. When you subscribe, you'll get notifications every Tuesday of new episodes the minute they become available. Also, please leave reviews and a 5-star rating. It's the best way to help the show grow. All of the episodes will always remain free, but if you would like to help support the show, you can do so at talkingschmit.com, where you can pick up some merchandise like t-shirts, beanies, hats, and stickers. The website has an entire archive of all of the episodes, with extra photos and videos. Email us with any suggestions, comments, or ways that the show may have improved your life at talkingschmit@gmail.com. All interviews are conducted, edited, and produced by Schmitty. The intro music is Mary's Cross by the band Nature. Very special shout out goes to the executive director, Sharal Camisa.
Shout out.
Love it!
This is Talking Schmit, where the Rolodex is deep, but the conversation is deeper.